right, guys, welcome back to the Fighters Eye podcast. Today we got Tony and we got Mike, two of my homeboys that I met through like MMA. But yeah, we got them collabing on the UFC Nashville breakdowns and predictions. I already filmed this, but I forgot to turn the camera on, so the screen's black for 45 minutes. So that's my fault. So now we got two guests, and yeah, we got Mike and Tony. So everybody say hi to Mike and Tony.
What up, y'all?
Great,
What's
great job
good?
saying hello, everybody. Appreciate that, guys. We got no live guests, and nobody could say hello. But first fight. Fatima Klein versus Melissa Martinez. One of y'all want to break it down first, or what y'all want to do?
Um, I'm not gonna lie. I don't really care about women's MMA. Everybody knows me in the women's MMA world. Women are nothing unless if they're either chicks with dicks or, you know.
Or there's Tracy Cortez. Shout out Tracy, man.
Nah, Big Tracy is
Big Tracy in
she's
the Big
immortal, bro.
225.
She's immortal. Big Tracy's like that. I mean, she Tony knows this. If it ain't Tracy Cortez, I don't care about the fight. Um,
Now Rose Namajunas pretty underrated.
normally on my criteria, I go by Dykes winning, but for this one, I think I'm gonna go with the underdog here on this one. I'm not gonna go with um what's her name? Mullins?
Fatima.
Martinez.
Fatima Klein. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm not going with her. She's I've seen her fumble the bag, and for her to be minus fucking 1,000 is insane to me.
minus 1400.
She's
Um,
1,400.
Yeah,
The fuck? That is random. That's like Bo Nickel numbers or somebody big like that. Like I'm not going to trust it on some mid women's MMA fighter. Like
that's true.
pack that shit up. And plus, this is an undefeated women's MMA fighter. Um,
Who Martinez?
yeah, she's
wait,
undefeated.
actually neither are undefeated. I think Fatima's like 7-1 and
Yeah,
Martinez is 8-1.
I thought
yeah.
I thought she was undefeated.
Nah, she got a loss, big bro.
They both got a loss.
Yeah.
I forget. I think Fatima lost on the regional
No,
scene.
she lost
No,
to Jasmine
Judavicius.
Judavicius.
Jasmine. Yep, you're right. Jasmine. Yeah,
She
Jasmine's
Yeah.
good.
lost to Jasmine. That's not a
Yeah.
Yeah, Jasmine's good.
that's
Watch
not a bad.
Fatima Klein be the one to beat Zhang Wei Li, bro.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, I'm gonna go with the underdog pick here, but I could see somehow, some way Fatima Klein can pull it off. But it's women's MMA, and I'm going to go with the most women's MMA thing to happen, and I'm going to pick the other girl. I don't even
Yep.
remember her fucking name, but I'll go with her winning her debut. Fuck it.
She's fought in the UFC before.
Oh, she has.
Yes, she's like
Oh,
1-1.
I don't
But
care about women's MMA, bro. They're the
Yeah, he's
fucking
not.
best
He's
there
not.
is,
He doesn't
man.
care.
um
I think-
I'm gonna go with Fatima Klein by TKO in round 2 or 3, by like ground and pound. I actually think Fatima Klein is actually really good. I think she had a competitive fight with Jasmine Judavicius, and unlike Mike, I'm not a casual. I actually highly study female MMA
You mean
fights.
you mean I'm not a man that beats off to women's MMA
Hold
fighters on
on.
Rampage.
Hey, I don't do that unless it's Alexa Grasso. No lie, no I'm playing. But
She's no Big Tracy, bro. Pack that up.
nah, Tracy is cool. But
Luana Santos is also a good one.
That's
Honorable
hey,
my
we
number
don't
mention.
mention
one.
her, bro. We don't.
That's
Shout
my
out to
number. That's my number one in the UFC. That's my number
We
one.
don't mention her. I don't know if y'all remember my crash out that I had on a live stream because of how bad Luna Santos' last fight was. But yeah, I crashed out on stream. My stream shut down. So yeah, but I'm gonna go with Fatima Klein by TKO. I actually think she's kind of good. I actually could see her giving problems to people in the top 15, and I think she's a future champion. So I'm gonna go with Fatima Klein by TKO in round 2 or 3, probably round 3.
Jesus Christ.
First fight of the night. So Fatima Klein. I'll be honest. I was a little critical of her. I want to say she maybe not trains, but is good friends with Aaron Blanchfield. I'll say. Um,
She's a fucking lesbian. There.
Yeah, she has a grappling background, high level and all that. I agree with Mike. The minus 1,400 price tag is ridiculous. I'm not gonna
Mhm.
lie, you should never be that big of a favorite in MMA. But from my understanding, what I'm assuming this matchup is just your classic striker versus grappler. Melissa Martinez, she's fought in the UFC. She lost to Elise Reed. Her background seems to be striking. She is a Mexican fighter. Usually they're durable. They have good cardio, decent boxing, and just striking overall. But for that price tag to be the way it is, my assumption is they're thinking Fatima Klein's going to maul this girl on the ground. That's the only logical explanation I can think of. And I want to pick Melissa Martinez, but in MMA, options wins fights, and specifically grappling wins fights in MMA to some extent, to some degree, unless you are just that much superior than your opponent on the feet. If you're able to secure takedowns, and that's the thing in women's fights you have to take into account. I rarely see the ref ever like pull them off each other, even if they're stalling, even if they're doing nothing on the ground. I rarely see the ref stop them and make them get back up. So if that's the case, Fatima Klein can be on top of this girl for 15 minutes. I was initially going to go Melissa Martinez in an upset just because I do not agree with that price tag at all. And if this girl can somehow defend a takedown, we got to fight because I think her gas tank and her striking might be better than Fatima Klein's, even though she isn't necessarily tested. But I'll go with a Fatima Klein. I'm torn between a decision and a submission. I'll go decision. I think it's just going to be, Fatima Klein getting her takedowns, getting her top control, and Melissa Martinez just not being able to really do anything damage wise.
Yeah, shout out for Fatima Klein, bro. You gonna beat Zhang Wei Li. I believe in you, brother. Next, next fight, we got Mike Davis, who nobody cares about, versus the absolute GOAT, Mitch Ramirez. Like,
I didn't really do too much tape on this fight. I'm going to go with I'll go with Mike Davis, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'll go with Mike Davis. I think Mike Davis is not a bad fighter. He only lost to two good names. He lost to the French dude. I forgot his fucking name, man.
Farisiam.
Yeah, Farasiam. He's good. And he lost to Gilbert Burns and a prime Sadiq Yusuf. That's not a bad. I don't think that's a horrible loss at all. I think Mitch Ramirez is not. He's not bad of a fighter, but do I see him being good enough to being one of those guys that I just named? I don't think so. I'm gonna go with a Mike Davis decision. I think that he's gonna get it done by decision. And another thing is Thiago Moises was looking like prime Alex Pereira against Mitch Ramirez. I did not like that. And I think he was also getting takedowns on Mitch Ramirez too. And Mike Davis is very good on the ground. I could see a sub, but I'm gonna go with 29-28 decision, maybe a 30-27. Who knows?
I'm going with Mitch Ramirez by TKO. I don't care. Mike Davis, man, listen, bro. I'm petty. You block me on Instagram, you gonna pay for your sins, bro. Don't ask to be on my channel. Don't ask none of that, bro. You get knocked out. Head kick KO from Mitch Ramirez. 6-1 underdog, bro. I'm putting $50 on, bro. On my life, bro. Mitch Ramirez, bro. Head kick TKO round 1 or 2. I don't care about no betting odds. I don't care about none of that. Mike Davis, bro. I was nice to you, but you blocked me on New Year's, and I just found out. You're getting head kick KO'd, brother. Yeah. So I got Mitch Ramirez by head kick KO. I don't care. I got Mitch Ramirez.
I respect the underdog pick. I respect it. I think I'm gonna lean towards Mike though on this one. I do hear what Trace is saying with the danger of Mitch Ramirez, but from my understanding of what I assume he's his style and what he is from the fight I've seen him in, I presume he's maybe a wrestler rather than a striker, but I could be wrong. Mike Davis is pretty well rounded. He could strike, he can grapple. He did lose to Farisiam, and he did get taken down by a French kickboxer in that fight. So from that aspect, I could see Mitch Ramirez potentially getting takedowns and top control time in this fight. But I also agree with what Mike said. Thiago Moises was looking very competent on the feet, and we don't necessarily see him do that all the time. For a grappler to look as composed and level-headed on the feet as he did against Mitch Ramirez, that leads me to believe that a guy with Mike Davis's striking acumen can really put in work. I'm just torn between a potential finish or a decision. I think I'm gonna go with a Mike Davis, maybe a third round TKO. I think the first round, Mitch Ramirez is going to come out, very explosive. I think that'll be his best opportunity. Try to catch Mike Davis, lacking a little in confidence, potentially coming off that loss early in the fight. Try to establish a physicality and a tone. Try to get takedowns. Try to get on top. Um, maybe he'll even win the first round. But I think in the second round, Mike Davis will realize, all right, I got to be more urgent. I got to get more pep in my step. This guy just won a round off me. And I think he's going to pick up the pace, pick up the tempo, pick up the striking, start to go to the body a little bit more, start to tax the gas tank of Ramirez, and we'll win the second round. And then we'll head into the third round, 1-1 all. And I think Ramirez will be tired by that point, and Mike Davis will start to realize, all right, I got this guy breaking. I could really like put him out in this round. And through accumulation of volume, pressure, and just good body work, head work, kicks, all of it. Because if I'm not mistaken, Mike Davis, like, I want to say he won the contest at Tiger Muay Thai or something for striking, something along those lines.
He did.
Yeah, I'm going with the third round TKO for Mike Davis, where Mitch Ramirez wins the first round with wrestling, but in the second round, Mike Davis is able to stuff the takedowns, tax the gas tank of Ramirez, get to the body, mix it up, and in the third round, he'll break him.
And I also just want to point something else. I'm 3-0 when it comes to preying on fighters' downfalls. Joe Anderson Brito blocked me, and he's now 0-2 since ghosting me. We had Gabriel Miranda block or ghost me. He got brutally KO'd by Jamal Embers, and there was someone else that I don't remember. So yeah, I'm 3-0 when it comes to people ghosting me for interviews or blocking me. Oh, and Daniel Rodriguez, he blocked me. He got choked out by Neil Magny. So yeah, I'm 3-0. So I'm about to go 4-0. Mr. Ramirez by KO. Bet your life, boys. But yeah,
If
anyway,
that happens, I'm gonna start paying attention to that block streak. If that happens, I'm gonna really start taking
He
attention.
really will. He
hey,
really
all I'm
will.
gonna say, if it happens,
If
bro,
Mitch Ramirez wins, I'm gonna hear you out on the next one. I'm gonna blindly follow it, whoever the next one is.
all I'm gonna say, bro, is when Mitch Ramirez wins, you owe me a follow on Instagram, bro, because I just blessed you with a win.
For real.
So yeah, watch this backfire and Mitch Ramirez gets head kick KO'd, bro. I'm gonna be so salty. I swear
I
on my
like
life.
that you said head kick KO because I could see Davis hitting that.
Dude, if that happens, I'm genuinely turning off the fight card, bro. I'm so done, bro. I'm gonna be so pissed off.
Hey, bro, if I could watch a whole fight after Kevin Holland wins, you can watch a fight too, man.
Yeah, bro. All right, yeah. We're gonna move on from Mike Davis because he don't matter. Next fight. A very interesting fight compared to the Mike Davis fight. Kennedy Njokuan versus Walter Walker. Like,
You want me to go?
yeah.
Honestly, I could see a world where Kennedy Nzechukwu uh pulls up I think he's an underdog, isn't he?
Nah, he's a 2-1 favorite.
Oh, he's the favorite. Wow.
Yeah, he's a
I
2-1.
could see him beating Walter, but I think I'm gonna go with Walter on this one. I think Walter's gonna beat him. Out of all the people in heavy for a heavyweight, Walter's very he's in better shape than he was in his debut.
Mm-hmm.
And every time when I see him go against people, he's not fighting like a blob. He's actually like throwing smart shit. I think he didn't he sub somebody with a heel hook in the UFC?
He's
Back
up
to
two
back heel
people.
hooks.
Yeah, he got back to back fucking heel hooks. That's insane. I've never
I
really
don't.
seen
I'm
it
trying to see
before.
who those
Pretty
two were.
I know one of them was Tafa for
it was
sure.
Tafa. It was
It
Junior.
was
And then he did it to someone else too.
Dante. He did it to Dante and
Yep.
Junior.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
I mean, those aren't like the best names, but I
That's
I think they're good. And plus to get a back to back heel hook has never been seen.
that's
Um,
true.
I'm seeing a one loss submission against Paul Craig. So if Paul Craig can sub you, I think Walter can. That's my logic. MMA math don't really work like that sometimes anymore, but I'm gonna I'm gonna go with a second round arm triangle submission or some shit. I think Walter's gonna pull it off here. I think he's gonna use the wrestling in here.
I gotta go with my African brother, the African savage Kenny Nzechukwu, whatever. Yeah, Nzechukwu. I don't know how to say your last name, but
Nizuchuku.
Nzechukwu. So shout out you, bro, because you got a weird last name. But I'm gonna go like realistically. I'm going him by TKO or decision, either or. Walter. I don't even know if bro can strike because he just heel hooks people and it's low key annoying. So I don't know how good his striking is, and because we haven't really seen it. But I gotta trust. Kennedy's undefeated at welter or not welterweight, heavyweight. And I think he has all KOs. I believe like all his KOs at heavyweight. He has 2 KOs. All right, so he's 2-0 at heavyweight, and he's knocked out the worst guys in the division. But there's still 2-0 first round KOs. I gotta go with Kennedy, man. I think heavyweight is his right weight class. He looks good. He looks quick. His last fight with Brzezinski, he looked really fast in that fight, and I think he was gonna beat Martin Budai in his last one before he pulled out, and I think Martin Budai just blobs Walter to like a split decision. So I'm gonna go Kennedy by. I'll go decision. I'll go 29-28 decision. He gets wrestled probably like third round. He's probably tired. He gets wrestled, but other than that, I think he's gonna win the first two.
Interesting fight in the heavyweight division. Kennedy, his transition to heavyweight has been pretty much seamless. It's gone according to plan. He's carrying that skill, that speed from 205 into heavyweight, and we're seeing it in his fights. But we have to do keep in mind with the level of competition he's been facing in his heavyweight debut, whether it be Chris Barnett or Burschke. I will give him credit. He was able to beat Burschke in impressive fashion, where Walter Rocker failed to do so in his UFC debut. However, I do want to put context in the difference of those two types of Burschkes. I do believe Burschke was on some shit against Walter Rocker. He looked much better physically. He looked much more competent in that fight. He looked out of shape, flabby, and off the sauce against Kennedy. Nonetheless, I'm not trying to take away from Kennedy's win, just a context note that I made, an observation that I noticed and I felt. That being said, as we head into this matchup, I think Kennedy's got the speed advantage. He's got the reach advantage. He's the longer fighter. I do believe he's the better striker, and he's not bad in the clinch. However, I can't help but notice in his career there have been some times where he's been favored and we thought he was going to win and he wasn't able to meet criteria or expectation. A
Yep.
fight that I immediately think of is the Oven St. Preux fight, in a fight where he kind of got schooled on the feet. Uh, I think of the Dao and Jung fight where the durability, this is a guy who was able to drown Carlos Olberg with pressure and beat him, gets TKO by an elbow. Um, that's my concern with Kennedy. It's always been, if he gets hit with something big, how does he react? How does he respond? I do see the intangibles and tools that he have. They could be promising at heavyweight, especially with the athleticism of heavyweight, as how blobus and out of shape they are. But when I look at Walter Walker, though, I see a guy who's tough as nails, man. I don't believe Walter Walker's ever been finished by submission
No,
or
he
by
hasn't.
knockout. He is a tough dude. But that being said, I like his grappling a lot. I like his wrestling. I like his jiu-jitsu. I think it's pretty good for heavyweight, honestly, for the standard of the division. Um, my concern with Walter is his age. He's 27 years old. At heavyweight, to me, that's a baby. That's a guy who's not been tested. That's a guy who's like that's a very young for the UFC heavyweight division. He should be 20.
Yep.
The main event of this card is 25 years old, to put that in perspective, and Taliesin Teixeira. But enough of my yapping. We got to get to a pick. It's difficult, but I'm gonna go with Mike here. This is my first underdog of the card. I like Walter Walker. I think his grappling is actually good. Between the two, I think his grappling could be more of a, what's the word I want to use? It'll be more of a gap that's visible in the grappling than I think the gap will be on the feet. I do think
Yep.
Kennedy's more technical. I do think Kennedy's faster, sharper with his strikes, but in MMA, it don't gotta look pretty. It don't gotta be aesthetic. It's gotta be effective. And I could see Walter Walker's pressure getting Kennedy to the back foot, getting him to the cage, and I could see Walter using his wrestling, getting takedowns and securing positions where in his last two fights, he's been going for submissions, nothing for nothing. I think this guy can have some ground and pound as well. I imagine a Walter Walker potentially in like a full guard or a mount situation. If you're Kennedy, I do not want to be there. And I do see the striking advantage Kennedy has, but I just don't think he could finish Walter. I think Walter's very tough. I'm gonna go with the Walter Walker. I'm thinking I'm gonna go with a second round ground and pound TKO, where very early in the fight, Kennedy's gonna try to establish his range, use his reach, kicks, knees, jabs, straight punches, all those things. But Walter's just gonna plot armor his way through it, back his ass up to the cage, take him down, and then that's the round. And we're gonna land some ground and pound, some strikes there, get into some positions where Kennedy is gonna feel fatigued. Then comes the second round, and I think the takedowns get easier. And I think he's able to pass to transitions quicker, and he's more dominant. And eventually, it will lead to Walter Walker and Mount, and just ground and pounding the shit out of Kennedy Nzechukwu. It won't be brutal like gory, but it'll be like Kennedy shelling up, and the refs like, you got to defend yourself, you got to defend yourself, and then he just stands him up, and that's a fight.
Yeah, yeah. Dude, if Kennedy were to get TKO'd by Volter, that'd suck. I'm not gonna lie. But I could see
Also,
it
I think Walter's more marketable. I think Walter Walker is a very marketable fighter at heavyweight.
He's the
because
better. He is the better Walker brother. I think that's my
Whether
opinion.
it's positive or negative, he will draw attention.
that's true. That's true. Next fight, Mike, you're not gonna like it because it's female MMA. Lauren Murphy versus Eduarda Mora.
I'll go first. Trace, do you
No,
mind
no,
if
no.
oh,
I
my bad.
got it.
You
I
good?
got
You good?
it. I got Eduarda Mora. Lauren Murphy hasn't fought in years. I think her last fight was fucking Valentina Shevchenko.
It
Yeah.
was Entourage in Brazil when she got dog walked.
It was Andrade.
Oh, okay, okay.
I didn't even think it was that recent. Like, damn.
Yeah, it was it was 2.5 years ago.
I thought it was 3 years. Damn. I was close enough. Potato fucking potato. Um, I'm gonna go with Morta. I think she's gonna dominate Lauren Murphy from head to toe. It is I could see like a potential, in women's MMA, there's only rare finishes in there. I
Mm-hmm.
think this one will be a decision, but I could see a world where she does finish Lauren Murphy. So who knows? Um, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I got Eduarda Mora by 30-20 this 30-27 decision. I mean, again, Lauren Murphy, not only was her last fight 2.5 years ago, she got, I believe, 30-25 on a scorecard. I know it was 30-26. I believe she got hit with a 30-25 in Brazil at UFC 283. On the feet, too. She got absolutely dog walked and beaten. The fight could have been stopped multiple times, but shout out Lauren Murphy for being sharp, or not sharp, being like tough in there. But yeah, she got beat up really bad. Yeah. But yeah, I think Eduarda Mora, she's 31. She's still kind of in her prime. She's 11-1. I believe she just beat Veronica Hardy on the MSG card, on John's card, like John Jones, whatever. Yeah, we don't care about that guy. But yeah, so she came off a good win over that. I think it was a good decision. She looked pretty good everywhere the fight went. And I think in here she's gonna be able to just touch up Lauren Murphy, pause, and eventually I could see a world though. I could just see a world where Lauren Murphy's beyond Washington. She just clipped with like a 1-2 down the pipe and gets stopped in round one. I could just randomly see a world where she gets chinned from absolutely nowhere. But I'm just gonna say 30-27. I think Mora's just gonna beat her up with body kicks, beat her up with combinations of the head, and just Lauren Murphy's gonna just start crying after the 3 rounds, just sitting on the stool crying. So yeah, give me Eduardo Mora.
Before I give this prediction, Trace, do you mind if I smoke on stream or no?
No, I don't care.
Okay. Well, this is a commemoration of Laura Murphy because she's about to get packed up. All right.
Hey, yo, my mom gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
All right, mind that. But that's besides the point. As we get back to
Dude,
this,
No, I don't care. You
Laura
can smoke. I don't
Murphy,
care.
it's a long layoff. I don't like it. If I'm not mistaken, didn't Eduardo Mora fight at 115 at one point?
I think so.
Did she
I
have
could
a
be wrong.
strawweight fight?
In the UFC, I don't think so. In the
Yeah.
UFC,
I
let me
want to
check.
say she got a finish over a girl at 115.
Let me check. Uh,
It was
does
like the fight
no,
before she
Denise Gomes
lost.
fights at 115, doesn't she? Denise?
Yeah, right? Yeah. Angela Hill, yeah.
Oh, okay. She had two fights at 115. She went 1-1 at 115, and then she just fought Veronica. She lost to Denise.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. But she
So
beat some other girl.
that was like a big thing for me when I saw her fight in the win that she got where it was like a dominant finish. I think it was against a Mexican fighter.
Yeah, that Merzarat girl. I don't know her
Yes.
name.
Okay. Now, granted, she's not the best at 115, but the
Fast.
immediate thought I had was this girl is way too big for 115. So making this move up to 125, I like that for Mora because
Mm-hmm.
my main concern with her has been her gas tank. I think she's very well rounded. She's got good grappling, decent striking, decent power, but her durability, her toughness, she's a great hammer, not a good nail. She's not great when she's not the bully. When she isn't the bully and she doesn't have the clear physical advantages in fights like the Ruiz fight or Montserrat, was that her name?
Yeah,
Montserrat.
Mazerat. Yep.
Yeah, when she's not clearly the more bigger fighter, like adversity strikes pretty quickly, and her gas tank has always been like a key thing I've had to like keep an eye on when picking her in fights. But you know, if you're Lauren Murphy, the game plan is survive that first round because I think that first round it's whatever Eduardo wants, whether it's grappling, takedowns, submission attempts, or if it's on the feet, pressure, heavy shots, you name it. Um, yeah, if you're Lauren Murphy, even though you're coming off the layoff, I would play into the veteran savvy, try to extend the fight as much as possible, try to make her fatigue, make her whiff shots, make her stuff her takedowns, really make her work for positions that she wants in the fight. But I'm gonna go to
Yeah.
Marta Wara here. I like the move to 125 because she was really big at 115. And I think that she'll keep that speed from 115 while not being as drained from the cut. So I'll go with a submission. I think Eduardo Mora is going to get Lauren Murphy down, and I think she's going to pass and get a rear naked choke in round. Fuck it. I'm gonna go round one submission for Eduardo Mora. I think the layoff from Lauren Murphy is just like, for me, you want to extend the fight, and if you're Mora, I think you want to end the fight as soon as possible. So I see her being very dangerous out of round one and getting takedowns at will and passing her guard, eventually getting either an arm triangle or taking her back and getting a rear naked choke. So I'm gonna go with that.
I'd Warren Mora. You know,
Yeah.
you ain't gonna do well against the top 10, but it's all good. Next fight, Jake Matthews versus Chidi and Njokuani.
Um, I got Chitty. I got Chitty Nizuchukwu. But there is like every time when I pick against fucking Jake Matthews, he'll somehow win. I think the only time he's done he looked ass when I picked against him was against Michael Morales. I think that was the one. And I
Bro looked ass, but barely lost that fight.
yeah, and Sean Brady, he also that one too that I picked Sean Brady to win. Um I'm gonna go with Chitty. I could see in a world where Jake Matthews has that plot armor decision win that he always has against people that he should be losing to, but I think Chitty's gonna pull it off. I think he's gonna chin. I think he's gonna be the one to chin Jake Matthews in this fight. Um, Jake Matthews just has a very stationary fighting style. I think he tries so hard not to. I mean, I know that's every fighter's mindset is to not get knocked out, but he fights a very like, oh, I gotta I gotta fight in the back foot. I gotta grapple here. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. He fights in a very like a very better safe than sorry fighting style. Like he's
Yeah,
more like uh a scared point fighter, as I would like to say. I think Chitty's gonna knock him out here in the second, brutally. And yeah, that's what I got. I got Chitty Nizuchukwu. Not Chitty.
Nujikwani.
Damn. Hey, bro.
um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Let's get.
I like both guys. I just realized Chitty's 36, so he's definitely an unk. He probably has kids. Um, and Jay Matthews only 30. I personally, I already know y'all gonna flame me when we get off this call. I thought Jake Matthews beat Michael Morales, but here we are. Nonetheless, Michael Morales is a fraud, and yeah. So, but Tony hates it because that's his favorite fighter. But I gotta go Chidi. I gotta go Chidi by KO in round two, like Mike said.
Damn.
Um, Chitty's last one with Zaleski dos Santos when he dropped him like randomly out the clinch was like pretty clean, pretty nasty, and dos Santos is really good at kickboxing. I thought dos Santos beat Renaud. Renaud got lucky those draw. I mean he robs everybody of wins. So it's shout out Carlos
Generational
Leo.
run he's on right now.
Carlos Leo also goes to me for an interview, so you got to get Chindy. Your next one, don't forget. I forgot about that, brother. I forgot. Yeah, so that's besides the point. But I'm going with Chitty. I can see Chitty just catching with a knee, like the same thing he did to Dos Santos, just ripping a knee when Jake tries breaking out the clinch and dropping out Jake. Jake's pretty good though. I think he's only 30, but he is a veteran. I mean, he's fought some pretty good guys. Sean Brady, Michael Morales. He had in my opinion, one of his best performances against Francisco Prado, who had some hype. Not really though. He had some hype in the beginning, but Jake Matthews put an absolute beat down on him. But I think I gotta go Chitty by KO. I think Chitty could be ranked. Like I could see him beating someone like Prates. Honestly, I could see him outgassing Prates maybe. But yeah, give me Chitty by KO in round 2.
Very interesting fight. Jake Matthews, he is 30, but with his, I want to say he's 21-7. He's got a lot of experience in professional MMA. And I want to say like he's been in the UFC for like
A
5 to
decade
like
now.
8 years.
He's been in there for like a decade.
Yeah, he's been there for definitely over 5+ years. He's pretty well rounded. He can wrestle. His jiu-jitsu is not terrible. His boxing is obviously his strong suit. And his losses, out of the 7 losses, like those are some names that we recognize and we think, all right, those aren't bad. Sean Brady, Michael Morales, to name a few. Coming off a great win against Prado, but I do want to put context in the situation. That was a 155er moving up to 170, and Jake Matthews had a clear reach advantage. He was able to expose the hook heavy, pressure heavy style of Prado and just look clinical on the feet. That was a great performance from Jake Matthews. As for Chidi Njokuani, coming off a upset win over Zaleski dos Santos, in which I picked him in that fight. Zaleski, he's a well-rounded veteran as well. Decent kickboxing, can grapple a little bit. Just a pretty solid fighter in his own right. It's a compelling matchup because I do think from a technical aspect, Jake Matthews is the better boxer, and I do think he actually has better output and volume than Chidi Njokuani, as well as being the better grappler as well in Jake Matthews. As for
Mm-hmm.
Chitty, this is a former middleweight at 170. So he's carrying that power from 185 down to 170. Even though it is a bit of a harsh weight cut for Chitty, I still do think his power carries. He's very dynamic. He's very explosive with knees, kicks, and elbows, as well as like lunging attacks. It's a really interesting fight because for me, the whole emphasis of this fight is range. If they're at kicking range, step in knee range, that's where Chitty want to be, where he could get in and out, use the jab, use his reach, stay along, and keep Jake Matthews guessing with which level he's going to hit. Am I going to go for a headshot with the boxing? Am I going to go for a knee to the body? Am I going to go for the leg kicks? Just keep him on his toes. As for Jake, he has to navigate a range where it's safe enough to box, throw combinations, as well as potentially mix up levels and shoot for a takedown. It's a really tough fight, hence the betting line. This is a literal pick 'em. This is tough. I want to say the way to beat Chitty traditionally, do you want to take away his danger? You want to take away his explosiveness or neutralize him? I just don't know if Jake Matthews is going to be able to like take him down easy if he does want to wrestle. I don't know if it's going to be as easy as you would think. This is tough.
Yeah.
I want to go Chitty, but Jake Matthews isn't bad. This is a tough fight, man. Because I think Jake Matthews, I could be wrong, but I think he's got better footwork and just overall defense than Zaleski. This is
Yeah.
tough.
And he's had 21 fights in the UFC.
This is so tough. I wanted to go Chidi Njokuani, but I'm gonna flip the script. I'm gonna go with Jake Matthews in a decision win where he mixes it up. He's able to display his boxing. He's able to mix in takedowns when he needs to, and I think he'll be able to avoid the big flying knees, the big kicks, close the distance, land his little 2-3 piece, get in and out, use his footwork, maybe even mix up levels with wrestling. I just think he's got great experience, and having been only 30 years old with a 6-year youth advantage, I think he'll be the fresher fighter the longer the fight goes as well. I think Chitty's very taxing with the strikes that he makes. And he won the Zaleski fight, but I wasn't particularly a fan of the boxing. Pure hands. If you go watch back that fight, he's missing some straights. He's missing some jabs. I think Chitty's strength is his knees and his kicks. I don't think his boxing's all that for being as long of a fighter as he is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it is 50-50. Y'all think,
it
just a
is.
quick question, y'all think winner of this could get a ranked fight next?
Potentially. I could see it.
Potentially. I
I
mean,
can
y'all
see
giving
it.
Bond Fiend Wonder Boy, bro.
Right. They want him
And,
to win. They want him to win that.
Well, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
yeah. And Brian Battle fighting Ruiz Boy is so random, bro. I swear to God, bro.
It is a bit random.
I wanted Battle versus Wonder
I
Boy.
could see the winner of this fighting Battle.
Or the winner of this fight or Randy Brown, maybe.
Potentially. Yeah.
But I think Brown definitely deserves a ranked guy.
They're
I ain't
all in
gonna
like
lie.
that same ballpark of the rankings. Yeah.
Yeah. Next fight feature prelim: Chris Curtis versus Max Griffin. This one actually should be a banger. I'm not gonna lie.
Um, I got Chris Curtis. I think he's gonna knock out Max Griffin in this fight. Chris Curtis making the one down, move to 170. You can ask
Yep.
Tony. I've been saying this for a minute. I think Chris Curtis should be a 170. I think he's not like a Buckley per se, but he's kind of got the build that Buckley has, not as ripped as Buckley. I think he's got the build that he should be a 170 fighter. He shouldn't be at 185. And I think in this fight he's going to look very good. I think he's going to stuff the takedowns. I think he's going to use that boxing style that he has. And I have seen Max Griffin get chinned before, and I've seen him get teed off on. I'm gonna go with like I said, I think I'm gonna go with Chris Curtis by KO or second round TKO, first or second round KO or TKO. I think that's what's gonna happen.
You know, before I get to my prediction, let me just say, Jack Della versus Chris Curtis, the boxing would be so good to see. Not gonna lie. Like Chris Curtis, bro, if you can make it to a title fight or like up there, bro, you versus JDM needs to happen. Second of all, I got Chris Curtis by decision. Um, his last fight was weird, Roman. The stoppage was a bit odd to say the least. You know, they stopped it when bro was fine, but they let some random Indian dude get face planted at UFC 316. You know, and then they let Jack Hermanson get get his throat smashed in by Hammer Fist after getting
Pause.
put out stiff.
Pause.
But no pause, no pause. We got no pause with that. So nah, I'm playing pause. That's not gay. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like that Roman Kopylov fight could honestly win his weight even with the knockdown. Probably not, but it could have, and it could literally be Paulo Costa versus Chris Curtis. But I I just think Chris Curtis is the better striker. I mean, Max Griffin's boxing has looked good at times, and then with his last one with Michael Chiesa, he looked like he needs to retire. He looked worse than Tony Ferguson. So it just I think it's 50-50 with this, like with the type of Max Griffin that we get in this one. But based off his last one, I think we're gonna get a wash to Max Griffin. And I think Chris Curtis is gonna come out here and put a 30-27 boxing masterclass on him and be able to rip the body. Chris Curtis does have really good body shots, and he just has really like, fundamental and really sharp boxing. I think he's just gonna outbox Max Griffin like 15 of a 15-minute fight and just outclass him. So give me Chris Curtis by 27, 30-27, maybe 30-26, depends on, maybe 10-8 him, but I'm gonna say 30-27. Chris Curtis, absolute masterclass.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep this pretty short and sweet. I'm gonna go Chris Curtis as well. My only concern is he's gonna turn 38 this week, I think. And if I'm not mistaken, like I do agree with Mike, he's got the build of a welterweight, but I want to say he's like 1-3. Well, like like his welterweight career hasn't gone exactly according to plan, and I think he's been knocked out in that weight class. So the weight cut, turning 38 this week, those are my only concerns. Nothing really to do with Max, just kind of where Chris is at.
Max is
Aside from
39.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I think Chris Curtis has really good boxing, really good takedown defense. His kicking game's not the best, but he's primarily a boxer. I would like to see him mix in an occasional low kick at the end of combinations at the very least. I think along those lines here and there, but I don't want to play a backseat fighter. I'll let Chris do Chris. Yeah, I just think he's got better boxing than Max Griffin. Yeah, he was doing really good in the Roma Kopylov fight. He got head
Mm-hmm.
kicked. The stoppage was it was controversial to an extent. It is what it is. That's the fight game. Sometimes they stop him early, sometimes they stop him late. It just happens to be who the ref is that night. Um, but in this matchup, I think Chris he's just fought better guys as of late, and this is kind of a step down in terms of the names that he's been inside the cage with. And you're telling me they're both like the same size, they both got the same reach. If that's the case, I'm gonna go with the guy who I think is more skilled, and I think Chris Curtis is that guy. So I'm gonna
Yep.
go with a Chris Curtis. I'll go with a I'm torn between a late KO and a decision because I could see both happening. I'll go with a I'll go with a late KO. I don't think Chris wants to be on the side of the judges. I think he wants to get this win decisively. I don't think he wants to leave it in the hands of somebody to potentially not get the score right. So I think it'll be a little bit back and forth, especially in the first round. I think that's the one round I'll give Max Griffin his highest success rate in. I think the longer the fight goes, Chris's style will like the body shots, the investments that he would have made would have paid their dividends in the later rounds. And I'm calling for a third round TKO. I think it'll be body shots. I think eventually Max Griffin will just be like, no mas, I can't take anymore. And I see Chris like using the jab, closing the distance, eventually leading to a barrage of body hooks where Max Griffin will go crumbling to the canvas round three. I'll go like 3 minute mark around three.
Exact time, bro. It's
Why
crazy.
not?
I'm not.
I'll try to call my shot on it. Like near
Bro,
like
could you imagine,
3 minutes
bro?
left in round three, it'll just be like body shots and he crumbles down to the ground.
Damn, that'd be crazy, bro.
That'd be tough.
I
I'd
feel
like
like I feel like I feel like after this we're gonna clip this and we're gonna put it in the group chat and we're gonna go back afterwards and we're gonna see
I like
just
it.
exactly what happens.
I like
You
it.
know, next fight, main card opener, the greatest fight in UFC history. The GOAT is back. Tuco Tokos versus Junior Tafa. Mike, yeah, first. Oh
Um,
shit! I just yelled. My parents are sleeping. Oh, bro, please. We got parents.
not you good, G.
Oh
Um,
shit.
Junior Tafa should win this. I'm gonna go with Junior Tafa by KO here, even though he's shit and all that. He should win this fight. Um, I'm gonna go with him by KO. I think Tuco Tacos is ass. Honestly, I don't know. It's a coin flip, but Junior Tafa shouldn't. I want to hope that Junior Tafa was just a small heavyweight, and the only reason why he was losing is because he only lost to decent comp. He only lost to who? He lost to Walter. He lost to
Rogerio de Lima.
Rogerio de Lima, yeah, who was a ranked contender at one point. Then he lost to Mo Usman. Usman.
Yeah.
I mean, some of are they the best wins? No, it's not like he's losing to Tom Aspinall or anything like that. But I wouldn't say they're like the worst losses in the world. Plus, like I said, he looks a little undersized. He looked fat as shit. I'm hoping that he actually comes in shape for this fight. Um, and Tuco Tacos is 35. We got to get him out of there. I think I'm gonna go with first or second round KO for Tafa.
Boys, I'm going Tuco Tokos by TKO. Um, I'm just gonna say this: Navajo Sterling would have smashed the hell out of Junior Toffo and run around, and Tuco Tokos brought him to a 29-28 decision. And Loki almost won that fight. Go watch it back. Tuco Tokos could have won, and he's gonna come in here first round. He's probably gonna get beat up a little bit, but we're gonna bounce back. Second round's gonna be Junior Toffa gassing out because I'm pretty sure like all of his wins are by KO. I'm pretty sure like pretty much all of them probably in the first round. Third round, Tuco Toko's gonna have a gas Junior Tafa. He's gonna get a big double leg, get to the back, and start ground and pounding, and get a third round TKO. And then bro, we're going straight for Magomed Ankalaev. Nobody's stopping us. Now Pereira, you're gonna get dust. Navajo Sterling rematch. Dust. France dude name. Umasai. Dust. Yeah. So I'm taking Tuco Tokos by third round TKO, and he's gonna become the future light heavyweight champion. Mike walked away in the middle of my glazing.
Tough fight. Junior Tafa. I want to say he used to fight at Glory Kickboxing, something along those lines. Striking base primarily, doesn't really grapple offensively or in general. Tuco Takas, I'll be honest, I haven't really watched too many of his fights, but I know like he's losing to Navajo Sterling, he's losing to Min Yang Zhang. These are not bad names to lose to. I think these guys are faster, more athletic than Junior Tafa. I will say that. Um, for having a striking heavy background though, like uh Tafa doesn't seem to know how to check a leg kick, it feels like in fights, and I don't like that. Especially when he's the smaller guy in this matchup. Tuco Tacos, I want to say is like 6'4", 78 reach. I think like Tafa might be like 6'2", 6'3", with like 72-inch reach. I think along those lines.
Damn, bro, you actually got that dead on. The only thing you're wrong about is Tuco is a 76 inch. Did you say
76.
76?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, you got that dead on. That's weird that you know all that.
I saw. I'll be honest. I saw the topology a little while ago, but that's besides the point.
Uh,
As for this fight, Tafa's going to want to keep it on the feet, and I agree with Trace's sentiment of early on he's going to want to be dangerous. He's going to want to put the pressure on. A majority of his wins are in the first round. I do think the longer the fight goes, that would favor a guy like Tukos, just primarily from the aspect that Tafa doesn't seem to want to mix up levels in MMA. He kind of just wants to keep it on the feet. I feel like Tacos being the bigger guy, he'll realize like, wait a minute, maybe let's not be at range. Let me press him up against the fence real quick and let's see if he can get me off him. Let me see if I can be more physical than him, if I can weigh on him, if I can neutralize his explosiveness, take away him being so dynamic early. If that's happening, then you got to really like your chances with Tukos then. Tough fight to call because I do think Tafa is going to want to like do what he always does, try to be dangerous early, try to put the pedal to the metal in that first round. It's really a matter of does he survive the first round for me, the way this fight goes. If Tafa would have done what he needed to do, I feel like he would have secured a first round knockout. But I do hear what Trace is saying as far as Navajo Sterling not being able to finish Tacos. I understand he probably was on the back foot a lot and was avoiding a lot of the heavy shots, but I definitely think Navajo Sterling's a better overall athlete and striker than Tafa. And if that's mainly what Tafa's gonna do, and I saw Navajo not be able to finish him, especially with the reach disadvantage that Tafa has in this fight, you know, what if Tuco shoots a takedown and gets it early in round one? How's the fight going then? Take it. How is he on his back? Like, does Tafa get back up? Like, those are variables we can't take into account. I feel like I know what I'm getting with Tafa. I feel like the unknown factors are with Tukos. We don't know if he's going to mix in grappling. We don't know if he's going to want to be on the back foot. We don't know if he's going to want to crash and engage into a clash early. The fight's really on Tukos, in my opinion, because I feel like I know what I'm getting with Tafa. This is tough. This is tough. But I'm gonna go with Trace on this one. I'm gonna
yes,
go with
sir.
Tukos. I
Tuco
think if he
Tucos.
survives round one, his chances immensely get better. I think Tafa does fatigue in fights, and him giving up the size and the physicality that he has, like, what if Tukos gets a takedown early in round one? I don't like my Tafa pick then. I ain't feeling great about it. I feel like he's not good on his back if we've ever seen him grapple really ever.
Sure.
I'm gonna go with a Tukos Tokos decision where he's able to use his reach, effectively fight on the back foot, and when he needs to, get his takedown, secure top control, and pretty much I could see some boos maybe coming in like boo, get up, like let him up. But nope, Tukos is going for the win. I think he would have mixed the martial arts well enough to win a decision based fight. I think it'll be a dicey round one. It'll be scary, it'll be sweaty, but he'll survive it. And then in round two, he would have gotten some offense, some clinch control up against the fence, maybe even some takedowns, some top control. He would have mixed the martial arts together. And then in round three, as Tafa is exhausted and fatigued, I think Tukos will get more confident with his straight punches. He'll start to back up Tafa a little bit more. And then eventually he'll secure that takedown where we're all like, okay, he won this fight. Tafa's not getting back up. He's on top. Time's ticking, and he's just done more in the last two rounds than the first round. And then he would have won the fight. 29-28, where Tokos wins rounds 2 and 3 after a sweaty round 1.
Mike, did bro leave?
I think he gave the Tafa prediction.
No, no, I'm trying. Mike, why you walk away when I was saying my prediction, Mike?
I'll be right back.
All right, but
Yeah,
yo,
yeah, what's up?
you good?
Yeah, we're good.
Why you walk away when I was saying my prediction, Mike?
Why did I walk away when you were saying your prediction?
The Tuco.
Oh, there was too much dick eating, bro. I had to leave, bro. I had to exit
Yo,
it. I have to exit, bro. I'm sorry, bro. You were
yo,
I had to
pause.
walk away, bro. We had to escalate the glaze the Glaze Fest. My computer was about to get a virus, bro. So I
What
had
did I say that was glazed? I said facts.
all right, buddy. All right.
Next fight. After our intermission, we took a quick intermission. We're back. Vitor Petrino versus Austin Lane.
I'll
Um,
kick this one off.
you want me to go first, Tony? Since
Oh no, I figured y'all about to say a madness.
you want me to go?
I'll kick this one off. This is my guy.
All right.
I'm very high on Vitor Petrino, as Mike knows and Trace knows. I'm very high on him. I made a prediction after seeing him smoke Adolfo Bellato that this might be the guy to watch out for at 205. This could be a legit contender in the division. And in his first couple of UFC fights, he was very much in the trajectory to be that guy. And then he ran into some speed bumps, some potential minor setbacks for a major comeback. The Anthony Smith fight, is very disappointing as a Vitor Petrino fan. I really felt like he fucked up, pardon my French. He messed up. He put himself in a position to lose rather than Anthony Smith won that fight. He was winning on the feet, and he, for some reason, decided to change levels, shoot a takedown up against the fence, which led to an Anthony Smith guillotine in which he tapped. It was a rookie mistake. It was a naive move. I thought he was very much winning on the feet. There was no need to do that, and he took an unnecessary risk, and it led to his downfall. I could ignore that because delusional or not, I can tell myself that 9 times out of 10, I think Vitor Petrino wins that fight against Anthony Smith. But then we go to the Dustin Jacoby fight. A fight that I thought Vitor would be more willing to level change in that fight. And funny enough, in that fight, he didn't really level change enough more than I thought he should have. In the Anthony Smith fight, I thought that he shouldn't have grappled at all. And he ended up grappling and he lost. In the Dustin Jacoby fight, I felt like he should have grappled, didn't grapple enough, ended up getting KO'd in the third round in a very devastating fashion. Anthony Smith, even though we do make fun of him for being a punching bag, he's got good fight experience, 50, damn near 50 pro fights, and he's got good durability and good grappling, I guess. But the Dustin Jacoby fight, I don't frown upon. He's a good striker, former Glory kickboxer. He was able to find the shot on Petrino. As we head into this fight against Austin Lane in Vitor's heavyweight debut, I I think Petrino is going to carry that speed that he had at 205. He's not going to be too bulky, too clunky. His movement will still be pretty good. His athleticism will show. Austin Lane, he has impressed me a little bit in the Robles de Spain performance. He was able to be a smarter MMA fighter and use his tools effectively. He was doing really good, honestly, in the Pinto fight. He won the first round against that prospect from Portugal in Pinto, and as we all know, eventually he would get knocked out. But nonetheless, he won the first round, and he was looking like he was about to do another fraud check coming off the Despain win. But as we head into this matchup, I think Petrino, you know, I think he's learned from his mistakes. I think he learned from the grappling errors in the Anthony Smith fight. I think he learned from the striking errors in the Dustin Jacoby fight. And I think he's going to put that together in this fight where I think he's going to look very fast. He's going to look very athletic, and he will have the option to wrestle and grapple if he wants to. I think Austin Lane's got the size, the reach. That's kind of it for me in this fight. Those are the only advantages I really give him. I think Petrino is more powerful of a striker. I want to see how his power translates to heavyweight, the added weight. I want to see how he's able to maintain his just his overall speed in this new weight class. I want to see if he can carry that same skill. I'm calling for a Vitor Petrino. I'll be like Pinto. I'm gonna go with a second round knockout. I think Petrino is going to invest in leg kicks early in the first round. I think he's going to try to chop down Austin Lane, take away his movement, take away his ability to really step into his shots, and kind of mix up some wrestling as well. Maybe shoot a takedown, get on top of Austin Lane, have him on his back, have him in situations he's not comfortable with. And eventually in the second round, he's going to close the distance and find a clean rear hook where it's just going to crack Austin Lane, and then he's going to follow up with ground and pound and TKO in the second round.
You want me to go next, Mike?
I'll go.
All right, but
I like Vitor Petrino as well. It's unfortunate his last two losses happened. I actually met him on the day before his fight against Jacoby. Shout out to him and his team. They were very nice. But no glaze here, no nothing. This is gonna be a fair, honest prediction. I met Austin Lane that day too, so that was funny because I met both of them on that same day. So shout out to them. Um, I'm gonna go with Petrino here. I think Petrino is gonna get the job done. Um, it all goes down to the fight IQ for Petrino. Is he gonna do something stupid in this fight for Austin Lane to get back into it? Austin Lane wasn't looking horrible in his last fight. I forgot who he fought, but he didn't look terrible. Who did he fight?
Pinto, the Portuguese contender series prospect.
Yeah, I didn't like that performance that Pinto had, but he did knock fucking Austin Lane off his ass. But
Yeah, Lane won the first round.
Lane was looking good in that first
It
round.
was. He was looking like he was about to do the fraud check,
Yeah, that's what I thought was gonna happen too.
and then he
But
got cracked.
yeah, yeah, it's just that chin. Maybe
Yeah.
it could happen here. Maybe like he might do Petrino might do something stupid and then finally get those bumps off. But I'm a you said second round, Tony?
Yeah.
I'm a piggyback off of Tony's pick. I'm gonna go with second round, but I think it's gonna be a brutal. I think I could see it a first round too. I could see a first round knockout happen as well. Um, I could see him clipping Austin Lane in the first or something like that. You know what? I'm gonna go with first round knockout. I'm gonna let my nuts hang on this one. I think he's gonna knock him out in the first. And yeah, I think Petrino at heavyweight's gonna be good. I hope he doesn't look pudgy or fat in this one. I hope he actually looks like a heavyweight, you know. But we'll see what happens.
all right, yo. My bad. I just got knocked out as Jake Paul. I was playing as Jake Paul and I got knocked out. So my bad, Jake. But for this one, I got Petrino, to be honest. I also met Austin Lane, super chill dude. I met him at ceremonial weigh-ins. Um, and like Tony and Mike said, he's coming off a good win over. No, he's not. Well, he has a good win over Robles this man. He got brutally chinned in his last one.
He didn't look bad enough. He didn't look
Yeah, he
bad
didn't look
enough.
bad. He actually won the first round, like pretty clearly. Um,
Yeah.
man, I'm gonna go Vitor by KO, round 1 or 2, to be honest. I feel like his power at light heavyweight was clean. I mean, what he did to Bukowskis with that lead hook was nasty. Um, I mean, he lost the only high level guys, Anthony Smith. I mean, my God, bro, my God, he's so good. And then Dustin Jacoby, you know, Dustin Jacoby, he's not bad. I actually think he could still compete with some of the guys at the lower top 15. Like, I think he beats Menafield in a rematch, just like somehow. But I gotta go Vitor by KO. And it's not like, you know, he was 11-2. He was undefeated when he came in. Like Mike said, I also kind of, yeah, I like Vitor too, so I'm not mad at it. But like, I think heavyweight is the good division for Vitor because I know a lot of people have said like the more weight you cut, the worse your chin is, and maybe that's why he was getting slapped at light heavyweight. He just was cutting in a lot of weight that not a lot of people realized. So yeah, give me Vitor by KO. I actually think he'll do really good at heavyweight. I could even see him like randomly chinning someone like Tai Tuivasa, like at heavyweight, or like beating someone like Walter Walker, someone like that. So give me Vitor Petrino by KO. Shout out, bro. Next fight, Nate Landwehr versus Morgan Sherrier.
Um,
Mike, you want? All right, bet.
I'll go. You want to go
All
or
right,
you
bet.
want or I'll go.
I'll go. I'll go. Man, I love Nate the Train. Love me some Nate the Train. But I gotta go Morgan by KO, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Nate's last fight against Duhoy Choi, it was depressing. It was just depressing. I love Nate. My first Nate Train fight was the fight with David Onama, and I instantly became a fan. And you know, he got beat up by Danny Gay, but Danny Gay will beat Volk, so we're not tripping about that. But hey, no, I'm playing. But Danny Gay's gonna beat Pitbull. But yeah, his last one, Duho Choi, was a rough one. I think Duho Choi is just better at the ground game than people maybe expected, and I think that just Nate didn't grapple enough. Maybe I don't know, but he's the underdog coming in, and I think he's the underdog for a reason. I think Sherrier is going to come in here, who's also coming off a loss, but he's just more technical. He's 20-11-1. He's had a lot of professional fights, and I think he's going to come in here. Run one will be all out war, and I think it's going to be done in one. I think this is kind of the fight where it's a train wreck, and whoever lands on that chin flush first wins. And I think Morgan will just be able to set it up a little better and catch Nate on the chin, and Nate will go down. Morgan's definitely got some underrated power. I mean, what he did to Gabriel Miranda was clean. He did what he in Paris. He has one other good win that I forget who it was, but it was someone in the UFC that he looked pretty damn good against. Um. Oh yeah, it was Shepe. He didn't win, but he looked pretty damn good against Shepe. To be honest,
I thought he beat Chepe.
no, he lost by the split. But yeah, I mean his two losses in the UFC, Nathaniel Wood, who could definitely be ranked, honestly, and Shepe, who also has the potential to maybe be ranked sometime soon, probably like 2026, maybe with one more win. But yeah, give me Morgan by round one KO. I think he's just gonna come in. They're gonna exchange shots, and Morgan is gonna land more clean, and Nate's gonna go down and get TKO'd in Nashville. So give me Morgan Sherrier by round one KO.
Um, this might shoot me in the. I might shoot myself in the foot here. Um, I'm gonna go with Nate the Train, man. I think Nate the Train's gonna pull it off here. Um, Morgan Charrier can knock him out completely, but something's telling me that this is where Nate the Train's from. There's no way in hell, no way in fuck that he's gonna miss this opportunity and just get. There's no way he's not gonna perform well in this fight against Morgan Charrier. I think he's gonna have a bad first round. Morgan Charrier is gonna get exhausted after like trying to finish Nate the Train, and Nate is just gonna start doing how he does and just pick up the pace. I think it's gonna look like a Nate the Train fight where it gets mean and ugly, and then he just starts mixing in his wrestling. I have seen Morgan Charrier get taken down easily, and by guys that are smaller than him too. I haven't been impressed. His record it may not be the best, but he is a very good fighter. I did think he beat Chepe Mariscal in that fight. Um, it's not a bad prediction to go with Morgan Charrier, but I think I'm gonna let my nuts hang on this one. I think something's telling me that Nate the Train is not going to lose in Nashville. I'm going to go with Nate the Train by a 29-28 decision here.
Yeah, I think Trace and Mike really broke down the analysis for this fight pretty candidly. I think if you're picking Morgan Charrier, you're thinking, Nate the Train's going to go forward and he's going to be open and susceptible to shots and counters. And Morgan Charrier on paper is the more technical striker with more dynamic abilities to finish the fight on the feet. And I agree with Mike's sentiments of, Nate the Train, he is the hometown fighter on this card. This is the guy. This is Tennessee's fighter. This is him. I do believe in what Mike's saying that he is going to step up to the moment. What win, lose, or draw, he's going to leave it out there. I think fighting in front of that home crowd, Nate the Train will be motivated very highly. If I'm not mistaken, Nate Landwehr has the better record going into this matchup, if I'm not mistaken.
He does.
Right. This is a guy who's fought at M1. He's been around. Nate Landwehr has fought at a lot of places, a lot of promotions. And something that travels well in fights is cardio. And that's something that Nate Landwehr's got. I know people aren't very keen because he got upset by the Korean Superboy Doo Ho Choi. But funny enough, I actually picked Doo Ho Choi in that matchup. I did not expect him to be the better grappler than Nate Landwehr. That was a surprise that I was not ready for. Doo Ho Choi seems to have really cleaned up that part of his game in his years of absence. So that was really cool to see. I did think that the counter shots would be susceptible for the Korean Superboy in that matchup. But I'm not gonna lie, man. Morgan Charrier he disappointed me in his last fight. He was favored over Nathaniel Wood, a guy who he's clearly bigger than. And I want to say Nathaniel Wood dropped him. Now I know Nathaniel Wood has better striking than Nate Landwehr from a technical aspect, but nonetheless, I rarely see Nathaniel Wood ever really like like drop somebody, like for real. And Charrier got caught. I do think Charrier is cleaner. I do think he's more technical. I do believe he's the younger fighter, more in prime athletically. But I'm gonna go with Mike here. I'm getting the hometown vibe from Nate Landwehr, and I do think if he's able to survive this first round with Charrier, I do think between the two of them, I reckon his spirit, his determination to win is greater than Charrier's. I think Charrier is going to try to be perfect in this fight. He's going to try to be too technical, too clinical, and he's not going to remember this is a fight at the end of the day. And I think Nate Landwehr is going to push the pace, push the tempo. I do think it'll be a sweaty first round. It's to be honest, if he doesn't get rocked in round one, I'm feeling really good about Nate Landwehr, whether he won or lost the first round. So long as he doesn't get clipped in that first round, I think he's whether he would have won or lost the first round, I think he's going to pick up the pace, pick up the pressure, mix in the takedowns in rounds 2 and 3. I'm gonna go with Mike's decision pick. I'm gonna go with a Nate Landwehr upset 29-28, where he would have potentially lost the first round, but would have won rounds 2 and 3 on volume, output, pressure, control time, takedowns, you name it.
All right, featured fight. Calvin Kattar versus Steve Garcia. Mike, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first if you want me
All right,
to.
bet.
I like Steve Garcia. Shout out to him. I know both. They're pretty cool. Um, Steve Garcia follows me on Instagram. I met Calvin Kattar. Very cool. But like I said here, we're not gonna have a glaze session here where I just start jacking both of them off here.
I would never. I would never.
Oh no, you wouldn't, Trace. I know. I'm gonna go with Steve Garcia. I'm gonna go with Steve Garcia here. I did not like how Calvin Kattar looked on the feet against Yusuf Zalal. Um, Yusuf, he's not bad, but neither is Steve Garcia. Steve Garcia is on a huge roll right now. His his boxing is crispy. His power is unbelievable. Dude's very good. Calvin could hang in there too. I could see a moment where Calvin Kattar shows that y'all must have forgot moment. Shout out to Roy Jones. I think this will be a great display of boxing. This might be my fight of the night, in my opinion. This is a big ass fight, and for it to be a feature fight is insane. But enough of me yapping. I got Steve Garcia. I'm gonna go with a third round knockout. I think it's gonna look like a war, and Calvin's gonna eat a whole bunch of shit going on. He's gonna eat mean combos and stuff, and then I think Steve Garcia is gonna finally clip him in the third, where it's like way far too much for Calvin Kattar to eat. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the third round KO by Steve Garcia.
You know, Calvin Kattar, Steve Garcia, love both. I think they both are probably two of the best boxers. I mean, Ilia Topuria when he was in featherweight was undoubtedly the best boxer in featherweight, but Calvin's not far behind. Holloway's gone, Ilia's gone. I think it's an argument that he's the best boxer in the UFC. Steve Garcia obviously underrated. Um, my heart says Kattar, my mind says Steve. I like this is near pick'em. Cater's only plus 115. I gotta go Kattar. I'm going Kattar. This might bite me in the ass. I picked him. I picked Emmett and Yusuf Zalal over him. I believe I picked Arnold Allen over him as well, but that was an injury. Cater's 7-7 in the UFC. And Steve's 6-2. But I believe Steve. It might have been at lightweight, but Steve was chinned by some.
Mahashete.
Yeah, Machate at lightweight.
Yeah.
Um, which again, that's at lightweight, but that's Machate, and he lost to some um Luis Pineda dude in his UFC debut. Yeah, I don't know who that is, but I just I just don't see a world. I mean, there's a big step up from Sung Woo Choi to Calvin Kattar.
For sure.
The Mekuzel Costa fight, I think that's his best win. It's one of his best performances, and Steve beat the hell out of him. But that was before, in my opinion, Costa found his rhythm in fighting. In the UFC, that's when he was newer. And Cater's fought some, like, the who's who. Like Dan Ige, Josh Emmett, Max Holloway. I don't know why I almost said Yair. Yusuf Zalal, Zabit Magomed Sharipov. He's fought the top guys for a long, long time. And I think this is just going to be a situation where, like Mike said, it's a y'all must have forgot moment, and it's a split decision for Calvin Cater. I think Calvin and Steve are going to put on a fight of the year. Call me crazy. I think it could be better. I think it could be not as better, like not as good, but close to the Royval Van fight with the boxing that they have. I think this fight is going to have blood. I don't think it hits the mat unless someone gets dropped. I think this is a pure stand up fight. And I'm gonna trust Calvin to just go out there after. I mean, bro, if you're going 5 rounds with Max Holloway, I think you can go 3 rounds with Steve Garcia. I think Cater's got this. And then I think he's gonna lose his next one to someone ranked above him. But for this, at least, I've got Calvin Cater by split decision. This could bite me in the ass. I'm probably maybe wrong. Maybe Steve does go out here and chin Calvin because Calvin is just washed. And I think this is a situation where if Calvin loses, he retires. I got Calvin. I don't think he's done yet. I got him.
Yes, this is a great feature fight. I'm a fan of both these guys. Similar to Mike, I met Calvin Cater at a UFC 287 fight week, and I'm a big fan of Steve Garcia as well. I've put money on him on this win streak. He's on a 5-fight knockout spree right now. He's one of, if not my favorite 45er to watch right now. This guy's awesome to watch. The mean machine is real, man. He goes in there and he is not pardon my French, he is not playing around. That dude is out there for one thing and one thing only. He want that bonus, and that's for
Mm-hmm.
real. But going into this matchup, no questions asked. Calvin Cater clearly has the strength of schedule in his favor. This dude, as Trace alluded to, has fought Max Holloway, Arnold Allen, Zabit Magomed Sharipov, like the who's who of the 145 division. It's very candidly clear. And I do, yeah, it's very much clear the competition is in his favor. Steve Garcia in this win streak, he's beaten the likes of Sung Woo Choi. Mezakayo Costa, that win's aging very well. He has another
Kyle
win.
Nelson. Kyle
Yeah,
Nelson.
Kyle
Yep.
Nelson. I thought that was well deserved because I felt Kyle Nelson robbed Padilla in his fight prior to that. Um, there was one other win on that win streak that I did like think was aging well. I think it was it wasn't Costa. There was one other name that I saw that was
It
like
was
I think it was like before the Nelson fight.
Chase Hooper.
Yes, Jay Super, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So the thing for me is that both these guys, I'm a fan of both, but I can't help but notice they're both in two completely opposite situations in their career.
Yep.
Cater, 37, 4-fight losing streak. Granted, it's Arnold Allen, it's Yusuf Salal, it's who's the other two he lost to?
Emmett.
Aljamain Sterling and Josh Emmett. These are like top dogs, no question. These are elite top 10 guys. Um, even if Zalal isn't in the top 10, he's on his way to potentially being there. Uh, and Steve Garcia is on a 5-fight finishing streak over guys who aren't on that level. Cater's 37, 4-fight losing streak. Garcia's 33 in his prime, I believe, 5-fight winning streak. The boxing technicality, I do think, is in favor of Calvin Cater. I think he's the more technical boxer. I think he's got the cleaner fundamentals, the better technique. But I can't help but notice ever since the Arnold Allen fight, his movement has not looked the same to me. He don't got that same pop in his shot. He don't got that same footwork, that elusiveness, that ability to mix up whether he's going linear, countering off the pivot. He just doesn't seem to have that same spryness in his movement. Steve
Mm-hmm.
Garcia, from a technical aspect, isn't really anything revolutionary, isn't really anything, special. He's just a guy who's there, ready to scrap. Steve Garcia doesn't play around. He's getting straight to the business. And if this fight does hit the mat, I do give the advantage to Steve Garcia. In the Mezakayo Costa fight, he was able to show off a little bit of his ground and pound, a little bit of his wrestling, I feel. If he does drop Calvin Cater, this is a guy who could definitely jump on top and finish the fight. I'm torn. I do respect Cater, and I do think he's the better boxer, and I do believe this fight is mainly going to be on the feet. But I simply cannot ignore the momentum that the Mean Machine is on right now. I don't want to walk in front of a 5 fight knockout spree right now and say, yeah, you're gonna lose. I don't like, especially when I bet him in the Sung Woo Choi fight. I bet him in the Mezakayo Costa fight. I think Steve Garcia is a fun featherweight. He's in his prime. I love Cater, but this sport is not for the faint of heart. You don't have two primes, and I do feel that Calvin Cater's prime is past us. I think his prime, like it was around the Jeremy Stevens performance going into the Max Holloway fight. I feel as though that was the prime point of his career, and now as he's 37, I just don't see the same movement in general. Not even winning, just move. He don't move the same like he used to. He don't step into shots like he used to. And Garcia, I know he's going to bring it. And I think he's a better grappler in this matchup, too. The only thing that I guess you could say is unproven is that a majority of these fights have not gone really past round two. So we don't know what Steve Garcia looks like in a fight where it's potentially 1-1 and you got to win round three. We've seen Cater in those situations in the past. But in his last four fights, man, he just don't look the same, bro. I'm sorry. Granted, he got grappled in the Aljamain fight. I didn't watch the Zalal fight, but I imagine he mixed in a little bit of grappling.
It
Um,
was yeah, that fight was mostly on the feet, but Yusuf was just running around the whole time.
oh, okay. All right. Well, the good news for Cater in that regard is Garcia is definitely not running. He's going straight at him, and maybe that'll set up some counter shots. Maybe that'll give an opportunity for Cater to pump the jab. But until I see it, I'm not going to believe it. I just don't think Calvin's back. I think he's closer to retirement than potentially winning. So I'm going to go with a Steve Garcia. Tough. Yeah, I'll copy Mike. I'm gonna go with a third round TKO for Steve Garcia, where in the first round I feel as though Steve Garcia is gonna bring the pressure. I think Cater's gonna recognize it. He's gonna see the linear movement that Steve Garcia is coming with. He's gonna pump the jab. He's gonna land it. Maybe even open up a cut. Steve Garcia is gonna recognize he's probably down around. Um, and then he's gonna switch up to grappling, where we haven't seen that in his last couple fights. He's going to actually make a conscious effort to change the levels of the fight. He has a great gym at Jackson Wink. I think they're very invested in him. So I think he's not just going to want to be a one-trick pony, especially against a boxer on the level of Calvin Cater's pedigree. I think he's going to want to mix martial arts here. I think he's going to want to win this fight any way he can. I think in the second round, he'll get takedowns and he'll inflict damage with ground and pound. Maybe even open up a cut on Cater that's starting to really like get the doctor's attention. And then in round three, it's going to be 1-1. And in the midst of adversity, we're going to see what type of fighter Steve Garcia really is. And
Yep.
I think he's going to push the pace. And Caters, we're going to see his age in this fight. I think round three, if it does get to a round three, we're going to see a slower, more fatigued Cater with no real power in his shots. And Garcia is still coming. And I think the takedowns get easier eventually to a point where he's just ground elbowing him into oblivion. I'm calling for a third round ground and pound TKO by Mean Machine Garcia. He keeps the knockout streak alive, moves it to
Co-main,
6.
co-main event. We got Steven Thompson versus Gabriel Bonfim. Mike, you want to go first?
I can go first if you
All
want
right,
me
but
to. Tough fight. I see everybody picking Bonfim. I don't know why. I'm gonna go with Wonder Boy here. I think Wonder Boy is not bad. His last two fights were very close. One was
mhm.
against Buckley. Everybody had him up 2 rounds against Buckley. I had it 1-1 going into the third, but different strokes for different folks, I guess. I think he was doing good by stuffing the takedowns of Buckley. And people forget, man, he was stuffing fucking takedowns against Shavkat in that fight. Yeah, Shavkat was injured and all that, but if he was able to stuff the takedowns easily, that's a big thing. And he was also doing good on the feet against both Buckley and Shavkat. I'm gonna go with a Wonder Boy decision. I don't trust Bonfim's gas tank. I don't think. I think he's gonna look like a fish out of water on the feet. and I think he's gonna shoot panic takedowns that look obvious, and Wonder Boy's gonna stuff him. And plus, it's in Tennessee. I think that's where Wonder Boy's from, if I'm not mistaken. Uh,
It's near it. He's like South Carolina.
Same shit.
It's near it though, yeah.
Yeah, but nah, it's near his hometown is what I mean, and like
Yeah.
I don't see him, I don't see him not putting on a excellent performance on here. I think it's gonna be a master class, and I think it's gonna be a hoorah moment where fucking Wonder Boy looks like a prime Wonder Boy in this fight. I'm gonna go with Wonder Boy 30. Nah, I'll go with 29-28. Why not? 29-28 decision, maybe a 30-27. Who knows?
I'm going Wonder Boy by TKO. I gotta go Wonder Boy by TKO, bro. All I'm gonna say is, bro, if you fight Angelusa and you can't TKO him, get Phil Rowe, who was on a losing streak, can, and you get TKO'd by Nicholas Dalby, who I genuinely can't remember the last time bro got a finish over anybody. You got TKO'd by him. He's not even a striker. And your last one, Chaos Williams, fair play. You choked him out. We just seen him get dominated on the ground by Gustafson. So congratulations. You did the same thing Gustafson did in his debut. Like Mike said, Wonder Boy was winning on the feet against Shavkat. I thought he was up 2-0, 2-0 against Buckley. And I love Buckley. I thought he was up 2-0 Buckley. He's beaten Jeff Neal in a 5-round fight. He was competitive with Gilbert Burns. I mean, there's some like I could list it all off, but there's like Kevin Holland put on a masterclass against Holland on the feet. Didn't look horrible against Bilal, but that was back in 2021. I don't think the fight plays out different, but still, I think he's just gonna come out here and wear it down. But like Bonfim, maybe Bonfim gets a takedown early. Maybe it's against the case. Bonfim snatches a double leg, sits him down. But other than that, dude, I don't think Bonfim's doing anything to Wonder Boy on the feet. Maybe a calf kick, maybe a jab. I think Wonder Boy's gonna have a field day on the feet. And obviously, we saw in the Nicholas Dalby fight, this is in Brazil, so it's not like an altitude thing. He probably trains in Brazil. He gassed out really bad and got TKO'd. It's in Nashville, like y'all said. It's probably gonna give the hometown advantage to Wonder Boy a little bit. Wonder Boy's gonna come in here, stick the body kicks, and I kind of see him what he do with Buckley. Wonder Boy, I don't know if y'all remember, but when Buckley landed that head kick on Buckley in round two, that snapped his entire neck back. I don't know if you remember that, Tony, but yeah, I could kind of see that again. I can see him being able to whip a head kick out. I don't think he's gonna drop Bonfim, but I think eventually, come round three, Bonfim, if he's still in there, is gassed, he's tired, and I think Wonder Boy's just gonna be able to pick him apart from there. And I can just see like a teep to the body, just Bonfim quitting from, and it's kind of just like a Bonfim is really good, but his gas tank's so bad, and that's why he lost again. It's the same reason he's doing okay in the fight, but it's still and then he just gets hurt with a body shot and gets TKO'd. Probably like a front kick to the body, maybe a knee to the body if Bonfim tries shoot in. Wonder Boy stops it, pushes range a little bit, and as Bonfim's breaking, lands a clean knee to the body. But I think if Buckley didn't stop Wonder Boy wins that fight. I think with Shavkat, obviously he looked good, but he ended up getting submitted. But he still looked good in it. It's not like he got dominated like he did with like someone like Bilal. So yeah, give me Stephen Thompson by TKO in round three. Coming back, Unk looks good, gets the big win, and then he can maybe fight someone like I don't know, Ian Gary, someone like up there, maybe Prates, someone like that, someone that like will strike with him, give him a fun fight. But I think this is a very clear fight for Wonder Boy, especially on the feet. So yeah, give me Wonder Boy.
Interesting fight. You know, your classic striker versus grappler matchup. Wonder Boy, he's fought everybody at welterweight, and he's only losing to the best of the best. Gilbert Burns, Bilal Muhammad, Shavkat Rakhmonov, Joaquin Buckley. I mean, the names speak for themselves. Gabriel Bonfim is one career loss coming at the hands of Nicholas Albi. I will say, I can't lie. Physically, even though they're both old, I do think Dalby in his last couple of fights has looked better physically than Wonder Boy. And I know he isn't a traditional striker, the Danish fighter that he is, um, hailing from Denmark. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Nicholas Albi is. He's got great gas tank, man. Nicholas Dalby, he does this thing I've seen in his fights. He breathes differently than most fight. Like I don't know how, like he's breathing out of his nose. It's a weird technique he does. Like he keeps this pace. Like the Renat Fakhretdinov fight, go watch it. Like you could see Nicholas Dalby breathe from his nose and his mouth. Like I don't see enough fighters do that. He was able to like it looked like control like the pace of his heart and like be able to steady continue doing what he was doing in the clinch and just his cardio is off the charts for someone that age.
Yep.
I know he got slept by Randy Brown, but I think Randy Brown's one of the better welterweights in the division. But going back to this matchup, on the feet, clearly Wonder Boy's got the experience, the pedigree, the speed, and everything you need to be more competent on the feet than Bonfim. I'm afraid I think the gap on the ground is just simply way more tremendous than it is on the feet. I think there's a better chance of Bonfim competing on the feet than there is of Wonder Boy competing on the ground. I think the second this hits the mat, it is wraps. I want to say Shavkat got a third round submission against Wonder Boy, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it was second. It could have been third.
Yeah, I think it was like definitely not a first. I love Shavkat more than most, but I do think Bonfim on paper has a better pedigree in jiu-jitsu than him. This fight is really when does he get the takedown and how long does Wonder Boy last on the ground for me. I could see Wonder Boy winning on the feet, winning points, maintaining range, straight punches and kicks and all that. But for me, the second this shit hits the ground, it is over. I think Bonfim has a significant grappling advantage in his favor in this fight. Um, I don't think he's going to want to do what Gilbert Burns did. Gilbert Burns fought a very smart fight. He was able to, close the distance on Wonder Boy, not really risk it too much, not really get clipped, and able to secure his takedowns to a decision win. Bilal Muhammad was more dominant in his performance with a similar game plan of extending the fight, getting his takedowns, but he was more ground and pound heavy. I think Bonfim, the way he fights, he pushes a pace. Early on, Bonfim does not want to be technical. He wants to get in your grill, whether it's on the feet or whether it's taking you down. He's very much urgent in round one. I'm calling for a round one submission for Gabriel Bonfim. I think the second this hits the mat, it's over. I just think the gap in grappling is immense in this fight. Athletically, Wonder Boy, he's hanging in fights, but these are primarily striking fights he's hanging in. Joaquin Buckley was able to get takedowns. Bilal Muhammad, Gilbert Burns. Yeah, that's another thing. The older Wonder Boy gets I know his takedown defense looked good in the Shavkat fight, but keep in mind Shavkat had an injury going into that fight. Uh, it just seems like it's easier to take him down every time I watch him fight. And we can poke hypotheticals. I feel like if Kevin Holland grapples in that fight, he potentially beats Wonder Boy. That's just me. But going back to this, like I said, I just think the gap is way more significant on the ground than it is on the feet. I think there's a better chance of that's another thing. Hot take. I think there's actually a better chance Bonfim knocks out Wonder Boy than Wonder Boy knocks out Bonfim, whether it's standing or whether it's ground and pound. I just when is the last time Wonder Boy has knocked somebody out?
Like just TKO in general, or like
In
actually just stop
general,
someone.
just a TKO in general, or even a doctor stop. Okay, take away. Okay, take away the Kevin Holland doctor stop.
Takeaway. I don't know why it says retirement. Someone says retirement for Kevin Holland. Last time he TKO'd somebody, god damn, was Johnny Hendricks in 2016, I think.
All right, so
Yeah.
um,
Fuck,
yeah, if you're
man, that was a
Wonder Boy, I
long
mean,
time.
try to fight the fight you did against Kevin Holland. Try to fucking kick his forearms to the point where he has his arms fucked up, and part of my French, his arm is damaged to the point where he can't continue. Um, but aside from that, I mean, I could see got bomb fiend clipping him. I could see him takedown feint into like a hook, like he feints the takedown into a rear power hook. I could see that. Um, yeah, Bomb Theme is just very urgent in round one. I think he's gonna recognize, like, if he gets that first, yeah, I'm calling it now. If he gets that first takedown with ease, the fight is over. I'm calling it now. The first takedown, he will transition, take his back. Yeah, I'm calling for a first round submission, Gabriel Bonfim.
No, I hope Wonder Boy
I
stops,
hope
bro.
I'm wrong on this though. I
Me
hope I'm
too.
wrong,
I
but
can't.
I
I
just
don't like
think
the Bond themes. I don't know why.
no
It's just,
question in my mind though, he's better than Ishmael. Gabriel is the better Bonfim. No
yep.
question.
Okay. Yeah. I was like,
And that's the
yeah.
other thing. I like Prates, but I don't know if he's the top Brazilian welterweight in this division. I think they want Bonfim to be that guy. with this
I think they should fight.
matchmaking.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind Bonfim versus Prates.
With
Fuck
this
it.
matchmaking, having him in a co-main slot, that tells me the UFC really wants Bonfim to work.
Yeah, but Prates just did get put. He's been in 2 back-to-back mains, bro. If you're putting
I know.
but if you're putting Neil Magny in a main event with Prates, I think they knew Prates. They wanted to give Prates the biggest spotlight they could with that.
I think Prates is like a more prolific finisher, better striker, but just in terms of well-roundedness, I think
Bonfim,
they see,
yeah,
and the record and the record.
and okay, yep, that's true.
They like
Oh yeah,
that
he
record,
is
and
17.
just to give him this slot, I just think Prates is marketable. He could speak English. He's fun to watch. He's got great striking, and he coming from the fighting nerds.
Mm-hmm.
But not saying that it's over for him, but he had his opportunity. If he would have beaten Ian Gary, and now we're talking potential star status and this and that. Just the way they're matchmaking this, where I would have given Wonder Boy another similarly ranked opponent, for them to
Mm-hmm.
give him this, that tells me they want him to win.
Yeah.
For
Main
me,
event.
yeah.
Lord have mercy, I can't believe this is a freaking main event. Derek Lewis versus Towson Teixeira, bro.
I'll kick this one off.
All right.
I'm pretty high on bro. I like Allison Teixeira. I saw him on the Contender Series. I know he's green. He's very green. Only 8-0. 25 years old. That's a child at heavyweight. Like there's so much room for potential for this guy. He's not, the most athletic heavyweight, but at the same time, he's not as obese as the other heavyweights. Um, 6'7", 6'7", 83-inch reach. I see a lot of potential. I'm not calling for this guy to beat Tom Aspinall or anything, but I'm looking at the landscape of the heavyweight division, and I could see this guy fighting Aspinall in the future if things go according to plan, the way they're lining him up. For him to only be in his second fight in the UFC and already get a main event in a crowded event outside of the Apex, that tells me they want this to work. They want
Yeah.
this guy to cook. And traditionally, for me, I think Derek Lewis does his best work against grapplers like a Curtis Blades. I think he's really good at getting up from the takedowns and being the better striker and the more powerful guy and knocking out those wrestlers. I think Lewis struggles with strikers, JDS, Cyril Gahn. Take away the Volkov knockout in round 3. Volkov was cooking that entire fight. I think strikers are what gives Lewis problems. And for me, Taliesin Teixeira, I liked what I saw in the Tafa fight. I know Tafa isn't the best heavyweight, but that was fucking, part of my French. That was clinical, what he did to him in the clinch. That was some flawless performance stuff from Taliesin. Um, yeah, I just think he's in better shape than Lewis. And I know it's not saying much, but I think he is. I think he's in better shape. He's got a reach advantage. I think he's more technical. And I like what I saw in the clinch. I could see him doing what Tai Tuivasa did to Derek Lewis in the clinch. I'm gonna go for a. I'll go. Cyril Gahn got like a third round knockout, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go with the second. I'll go with the second round knockout for Taliesin Teixeira, where in round 1 he sets the tone. He establishes the range with his straight punches. He's able to just laying his straight punches at will on Derek Lewis. I think Derek Lewis's footwork isn't that great. I think Teixeira is going to be faster. I think he's going to be longer, younger, hungrier. Um, I hate to be that guy. I kind of think Derek Lewis is here for a check. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go with a second round TKO for Taliesin Teixeira, where we are calling for more ranked fights for bro. They clearly want him to work. For him to have a main event in his second pro fight in the UFC. They want him to get in the top 10.
Yeah. Mike, you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go.
I
Um,
bet.
this is gonna be a short and simple. I got Taliesin Teixeira, but I could see a world where Derek Lewis does knock him out. We haven't seen him get his chin tested, Taliesin Teixeira, and Derek Lewis is good at like just randomly knocking out somebody he shouldn't be knocking out.
Yep.
But
Sure.
we'll see what happens in this fight. I think Taliesin Teixeira should, like Tony said, there is a reason why they put him in a main event in his second pro UFC fight. Not pro. I sound like a fucking casual when I said that. A pro UFC fight.
I
No,
said it.
as his second UFC fight, this is a big one. Like he's fighting. They're having him kill fucking Derek Lewis here as his second fight. That's big to me. Pause. No Diddy. And I think I'm gonna go with first round knockout. Maybe a first round TKO actually. I think he's going to wither the storm. I think what's going to do it is a brutal knee to the body, because like how he likes to go for those clinch knees.
Yeah.
I think he's going to clinch knee him to the body, and Derek Lewis is going to go ooh, and then he's
Yeah.
going to start getting pounced on the ground and pound, and I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I like the clinch. I think you could elbow him, hook him, knee him, anything in the clinch. I think
I
you
could
do
see
it.
him brutaling him, knock him out. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah.
If
But
Ty was able to do that, I think Towson with the reach and the frame he has, I could see it.
the dude's big as shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I like him.
I like him too. I gotta see what happens though. This is
Yeah.
a good test though. I can't lie. Derek,
Yeah.
if you can't beat Derek Lewis, you're not legit. Well, shouldn't say that because Derek Lewis has beaten some decent fighters that are top 3, top 4. So
I hear what you're saying though. He's a great like barometer of the division. Like the
Yeah.
guys who beat him, they fight for titles.
yeah, like a Cyril Gahn beat him.
Tuivasa was one fight away from a title shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Main event.
Yeah.
Lewis and Teixeira. Um, you know, I'm sorry, but I would much rather see women's MMA as the main event, bro. I swear on my life, bro. I sit here. Nah, 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 nah,
Yeah,
nah.
let's
Hold
not
on,
do
hold
that.
on.
Let's not swear on lives for women's MMA. Let's
let's
not
Like,
do
not
that.
let's not give fucking Dana any privileges here, man.
Let's do
like
Let's not
that.
you
give
people
Dana
at the
any
UFC
privileges.
really said, nah, we're not gonna put any MMA this Saturday. But after a week off, you're gonna get a Derek Lewis main event. Who cares about Derek Lewis? Bro hasn't fought in damn near a year or over a year. His last fight got canceled because he was sick or some BS. Probably because he was scared of Canada. Because bro doesn't like Canada. Like, bro, Talishin to Sarah, bro. If this dude goes out here and KOs Lewis, which you will, if you people give him Tai Tuivasa next, I swear to no, I swear on my life, Dana White, I'm gonna find you, bro. Like, don't play no games, bro. If y'all make Talishin sleep Lewis just to give him an easy win with Tai Tuivasa, bro, your days are numbered, bro. I swear, bro. Come on now. Like, who asked for this? Like, bro, UFC Nashville, we could have had Carlos Prates in the main event. We fuck it. We could have Chandler versus Rufy as the main event. Something that's like main event. Bro, this is regular prelim opener on a pay-per-view. Like, when has Derek Lewis ever been on a main card? Like, except Canada, and he got pulled out. Like, literally, and not only that, Taoshin is a fraud. He should still be 7-0. And the Junior Taffa fight, he need him in the balls, and that's why Taffa went down. Bro did not connect with nothing except the elbow after Taffa already got knee in the balls. Bro, like, I don't know, bro. Like, just looking at this pisses me off. Like, how is this a main event? Like, I don't understand, bro. I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm laughing because I'm like, bro, like I could really do a better job of matchmaking. Like obviously, what I think is gonna happen is Lewis is gonna be fat as hell as always. He's gonna do this whole like gang sign thing that he does during his introduction or whatever he does. They go not touch gloves at the beginning, and then Lewis can come out here and get and finish with a body shot like 2 minutes because Taushin like lands a step in knee and Lewis like shits his pants. I I don't know, bro. Like, bro, this gives me like cartoon vibes. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, I
I can see
swear, bro,
it.
I would much rather Marcin Tybura be in this fucking main event than Derek Lewis, bro.
Yeah,
Because
you
Marcin
better be
Tybura,
careful. If Allison wins this, they might give him marching, bro.
yeah, Marcin's gonna dog walk him like he
We'll
always
see
does.
about that. Off
You
that
know, bro,
robbery of the Mick Parkin fight.
bro, I don't know, bro. Like, this just like, damn, like we could have gotten Yuri versus Oberg as the main event of this card, but like
Or
we got this. Like, I don't know, bro. It's just like, damn, like y'all. See, you all really made me cry myself to sleep on Saturday because we had no card, and now you gonna put this. Like, bro, come on now, gang. Yeah, I got Towson. Yeah, that's my little rant. But I don't care about this fight. But I got Towson by round one body shot TKO because Lewis is too fat to absorb a body shot. So yeah, that's I don't know, bro. That's my prediction, bro. Towson to Sarah goofies his way with the fucking win, dude. Yeah, but guys. That's been our UFC Nashville breakdowns. I'm sorry I just went on like a 5 minute rant of how goofy UFC is nowadays. Um, bring in Logan Paul, bro. Logan Paul versus Derek Lewis would sell more than this, bro. At this point, I don't care about this shit, bro. Oh my God, but
I
like,
actually
bro,
want to see it because I could just see Derek Lewis knocking Logan Paul the fuck out.
Logan Paul would dog walk Derek Lewis. That's
No,
besides the
he would
point.
not, bro.
Bro beat up Floyd Mayweather.
Bro,
We need Yuri
no.
Logan Paul now.
Hey, nah, give me Jamal Hill versus Logan Paul.
I
Jamal,
Give
like
me
I
it.
that.
only want to see it just to see Jamal knock him out.
Logan chins him, but it's besides the point.
No, he
Oh
wouldn't.
wait, are we still videoing? Oh, I'm about to get. I'm editing this part out.
Yeah.
Anyway, appreciate y'all watching our UFC Nashville breakdowns. This is like 100 minutes long, so I appreciate Mike and Tony for hopping on the channel. Boom. Go check that interview with Rafael Stotts out. That shit was a banger. Them shits with Vinicius Oliveira. Shout out, bro. I'm definitely gonna try to get a Vinicius Oliveira interview because bro's the goat. He's funny. His glasses make him look funny too. So like in a good way. So shout out Vinicius.
Now,
But yeah,
now you just
appreciate.
lost yourself the interview, man. You can't insult
No,
them, brother. I
Vinicius,
know,
hold on.
like, fuck this motherfucker.
Vinicius, I got a Brazilian flag, bro. Give me an interview. So yeah, shout out y'all watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.